All right, welcome and good evening to another episode of Inside the Burrow. My name is Dan, known as FAU for Show on the Owl's Nest. This episode is brought to you by FAUOwlsNest.com. I'm here with Jack, Aaron, and Scott, and we've got a very special guest with us tonight. We've got head football coach Charlie Partridge. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
All right, so so there's we'll kind of get started. We've got some questions about the season and kind of the state of the program and where we are. So I'll kind of get started here. Coach, what has been really the biggest difference between this offseason and last offseason?
You know, there's a couple things, and the first thing that jumps out to me is just the level of expectations being understood and what we expect these guys to do day in and day out. They really understand what we expect and why we expect it, and we demand them to perform at a high level all the time, in the weight room, in the classroom, the way they behave off the field, and that expectation is understood. We all know college kids aren't perfect, but them flat out understanding that we expect them to do things the right way, and we're going to hold them to that standard all the time, is certainly been reached. And what's exciting for me is that I'm starting to see the players hold each other accountable the same way we want to hold them accountable. And that's when you're starting to see a culture shift and things change, and all that stuff leads to wins. I know it sounds like coach speak, but I've been around a lot of good players. You guys know all that. And there's been times where we've had below average teams or didn't live up to our potential, and times where we've gone well beyond our potential, and culture is what you can point right to. And, you know, the second thing is last year at this time we were working on it, but we didn't have a big part of the whole annual game of football. And it is annual. You know, you guys appropriately focus on 12 guaranteed Saturdays plus a day in February and all the things that go to that. But us having the nutrition support, increased strength room support, that's the stuff that gives you a chance to develop some of the talent that we've been able to secure and bring in here to Florida Atlantic. So those would be the biggest differences I'm seeing a year in.
Cool.
Hey, Coach Aaron here. Between last season and this season, what is your biggest goal coming into the workups of the regular season?
Well, coming into fall camp, really what we want to do, there's a number of things that we're targeting. I can make the blanket statement that we need to get better all across the board, and that's accurate. That's true. But there's certainly some things that we're going to keep a close eye on. The development of our linebacker group and that whole, depth chart area being solidified. There's some guys I'm very excited about, but there's going to be some serious competition for starters and for depth in the linebacker core. Hopefully the O-line picks up where they left off after spring, because coming out of spring, I really, really am proud of the improvement that they've made, and a lot of people deserve credit. Bart Miller's done a great job. Our strength coaches have done a great job, and that's the position group that is going to see the biggest difference from the strength training sessions. But in spring ball, I'm excited. We need to pick up where we left off there. Let's be honest, ball security is something that this fall camp we need to do a great job of emphasizing and making them feel that everything we've worked for really comes down to that little piece of leather that's underneath their arm, and they need to protect it with everything that they've got, so that we don't relive some of the pain that we did last season, and we move forward and finish those games without turning the ball over.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, with fall camp coming up, what are some of the more eminent position battles that we're going to hear about as camp progresses leading up to the first game against Tulsa?
Well, I'd refer to the linebacker core. It's going to be fun to see. Freedom Whitfield had a nice spring. Robert Ralph, we hope he continues to develop. Chris Harris is coming out of his redshirt year and has had a really nice summer. You're also talking about Jared Ward and Nate Ozdemir, some of the new guys that are coming in with Aziz Al-Shahir has had a really nice summer. Excited about him. Jacob Douglas, Cantrell Burden from down in Broward County. So that's going to be a really interesting group, and anxious to see how that all shakes out because you can't predict it right now. On the O-line, we've really got some nice depth inside with, you've got Roman Fernandez, who's been playing lights out for us in spring, and Antonio Woods, Mike Marseille, Dylan DeBoer, Jacoby Smith, who this time a year ago, he wasn't performing at that elite level that we want all the time, and he's showing indicators that he can do that. So I'm excited to see the battle in that interior of our offensive line and see how that all shakes out because we've got some nice depth and running backs. Jay Warren, Buddy Howell, Greg Howell, we're excited to see those guys compete, and Trey Rodriguez will certainly make things interesting also. So there's a number of spots that we'll keep an eye on and certainly across the board as well.
Awesome. Well, hey, Coach, this is Jack Wooden. I'm the student still at the university. And first off, I just want to say for all students, on behalf of all students, I want to tell you how much we really appreciate the type of program you're building, for everyone at FAU, how proud we are of how you're leading this program. My question for you real quick. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yep. No, that's okay. I was just going to say thank you. It means a lot. It was a big piece of coming in here. I got great advice from Barry Alvarez, and I want to do that. I want to build, and you said a big word. Program is a big word. Not a flash in the pan, not a one-year wonder, a program that you guys can be proud of, not just while you're here, but many years after you're gone.
I'm on board with that. That sounds great. So my question to you is, with Conference USA being such a spread-heavy, high-octane offensive league, do you find it to be a little more comfortable to work out of a 4-2-5 out of a nickel than the ever-popular 4-3?
Yeah, I do. And the nice thing is really that they are a family together. The biggest difference is you're taking what most people call their Sam linebacker or their field linebacker, and you're replacing them with a nickel. And you can do some more schematic things from a coverage standpoint when you have your nickel in there, and it's appropriate, because that guy's you're going to have one of your three linebackers out of the box a lot of times when you're going against these spread offenses. So the percentage of us being in nickel or 4-2-5 in this league will be greater than probably half the season. So, yeah, we've got to do a good job developing our nickels, and we're excited about DJ Justy had a really nice spring. We moved Sherrod Niesman back to safety, as I think you guys know. So that opened that opportunity up for DJ, and O.C. Rose is someone that we're going to train there as an exciting incoming freshman, and Marquise Dudley-Gordon coming out of his redshirt year is someone we're anxious to see develop. So, yeah, that nickel position really is every bit as important to us as one of our three linebacker spots.
Excellent. So there's you threw out some names earlier, with linebacker and actually just right there with the nickel. But who do you think Owl fans should keep an eye out to kind of get to maybe have a breakout year that would be pretty surprising? Not somebody that is many people are aware of at the moment.
It probably depends on the level of the fan. I'm betting knowing you guys, you are well aware of Sherrod Niesman. Many might not be. He is poised to have a year that we're all very excited to see. He was one of the first players I met right after my introductory press conference, and he's impressed me from that moment on. And he really is poised to do some special things. As far as a breakout year, maybe somebody you don't know about, Hunter Snyder is coming out of his redshirt year and had a spring that impressed all of us. So we're anxious to see what he can do. I had mentioned Trey Rodriguez as someone who's coming in and showed flashes during the spring of things that he can do. Caleb Woods at times showed last year that he can be a big contributor, and hopefully he has that kind of year where he gets some notoriety throughout the entire conference. So there's a few guys. Freedom Whitfield is a guy who's played for us. He's spotted for us. He's started a time here or there, but there's another one that we're hoping can stay on the trajectory he's on, and that would help him have a breakout year as well.
All right, thanks, Coach. Aaron here. You're from the area. You grew up here. You career down here. So since coming to FAU, we've seen a big influx from the local area coaches since he arrived. What have you done to help grow that support within the local football community here in South Florida?
A couple things. Over the years, it's not easy because recruiting at times can get very, very gray. It's not all black and white. And the biggest thing I've tried to do over all the years I've come down here and recruited and tried to continue this as I've been here is it's just simply tell the truth. And sometimes you have to tell a coach or a recruit something they don't want to hear. Anything from you're not ready to offer yet, or we've got to see great improvement, or you know what, coach, I know we offered him, but we've gotten another commitment and we filled at this time. So all those things, just communicating, we've done our best to make sure we do that. So that's a big part of it, because then over these years you earn their trust, and trust is what keeps those guys coming back to you. The other part of it is I've hired some guys that have really strong ties and are good recruiters. Rock Bellantoni has recruited down here a long time. So, some people that don't know that. I mean, Dan Shula it wasn't just because he's the grandson of the one and only Don Shula. I mean, he's recruited down here a long time and is a outstanding wide receiver coach, another guy with strong ties down here. Roger Harriet did a great job before he decided to change the path that he's gone down. So we've got some really strong recruiters that have ties to this area. That's a couple examples, and that helps keep the coaches coming back to see what we're building here. So, and the other part of it is as you sign players from the area, they realize it's important to you, and that we are going to start here and branch out from here. That certainly adds to the excitement of what we're doing as well.
Thank you.
So Coach, we all know you're thrilled to be back home in South Florida. We all, I think almost all of us who are going to watch this podcast, we all heard the I'm coming home video and, gave us all goosebumps and was very exciting. But now that you are home, what is the one thing you've gotten back that you never really realized you missed so much from South Florida?
Well, I knew I saw that question and I knew I missed it, but I don't know that the degree to which I missed having my dad be around my children more than I thought I'd ever get the chance to experience, and getting him over on weekends and looking over my shoulder and having him there at practice. Those are moments that there's not a lot of us in college football and coaching get the opportunity to do that, and that's pretty special. I mean, it's something I'm going to cherish for as long as I possibly can, and couldn't be happier about that. So without a shadow of a doubt, it's being around my father.
Thanks, Coach.
That's great, actually. Coach, it's Jack again. We all see how involved you are on social media, especially with Twitter. As myself and all my friends would say, your tweet game is strong. Do you have any rules or guidelines that you tell your players when it comes to social media, especially in this ever-changing, fast news type of society, where the littlest tweet can have some major repercussions?
Yeah, to say we have certain rules, no, more guidelines, and it comes back to our 4 core beliefs, and those really are commonsensical. We talk about things that they shouldn't be around, and those things also. If you shouldn't be around it and you shouldn't be involved in it, then you really shouldn't tweet about it. We simple things, in addition to that point is do you really need to tweet curse words or retweet? The retweet thing to me can be very dangerous. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it is on their timeline or whatever you call it. And that part can be dangerous too. And some of our younger guys who are still maturing, I have learned that you can put certain people on alerts. So I do have half a dozen to 10 kids that when they tweet, it lights up my phone. And there's been a couple of times where I, within 3 seconds, have sent a text saying, "Take it down."
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's just if you're teaching these kids what's important and what's not, hopefully most of the time they're going to make the right decision.
That is some strong tweet game there, Coach, if you're getting that kind of response.
Thanks.
So this was a pretty popular suggestion, but last season, when you promised to wear the red pants if the student section was full, do you think we should expect to see that versus the Miami game?
Well, I'll tell you what, that happened pretty organically. I don't know if you know the full story. I was at a function last May, and a couple alumni, recent alumni, young alumni, in their early to mid 20s, came up to me and they showed me a picture of them tailgating, and they were all wearing, for whatever reason, these you could say ugly, gaudy, whatever, these red dress pants. They said, "What do you think of those, Coach? You should wear them." I said, "You know what? Those things are awful." And then I went back to them. I said, tell you what, okay, you guys, do your part and fill that student section up. I'll wear your red pants. So within reason, I'll throw the challenge back to you guys, and you tell me what you want to see, and we'll see if we can get something going again.
Oh, that's beware of what you wish for there, Coach. Yeah,
that's why I put the within reason. I do have a fail-safe built in.
we can get some brainstorming going on some of the students. We'll see what we can come up with.
I like it.
All right, Coach. I got the last question for you, Jaren. Since you arrived at FAU 2 years ago, what is the one thing you've accomplished that you're most proud of?
Yeah, that's not an easy one, because at the end of the day, we have three big picture from 20,000 feet. We have three program goals. First one is get them graduated, get them out of here and get them a degree. Second one is win championships. Third one is to get people the opportunity, if they have the ability, to have a shot at the NFL. Because if we're graduating them, we're winning titles, and we're getting people to the NFL, that's a program we all can wrap our arms around. Now, to get those three things done, there is a enormous amount of processes and goals and culture building that happen. But I'm proud of the way we've recruited. I'm proud of the culture that we're building. I'm proud of the true relationship that we're creating with the student body. It's why what you said earlier, Jack, means so much to me. So it's a lot of things that you want to shrug off, because at the end of the day, I know we want wins. I do too, guys, trust me. But we're doing a lot of building right now where the standard is set, where we're getting those kind of seasons and bowl games and bowl championships that we all want to get to.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, I can
got it.
So, yeah, I mean, that's I think that was all the questions that I had. I don't know if give one last little second if any other questions popped up, Jack or Scott.
Well, Coach, I was actually just going to say I can tell how genuine you are when you say things like that. You're not going to remember this. The very first time I've ever saw you was last spring. I was near the nursing building. You were just on campus for maybe a few weeks before. I recognized you, and I said, "Hey, Coach, welcome to FAU. How you doing?" You replied with, "I'm doing well. How are your grades going?" Or how are your studies? Something along those lines. And I was flabbergasted. I was so shocked. In my mind, I'm thinking, "What, Coach? Why do you care? Why? What would possess you to actually care about that?" But it goes to show how much you really do care about the university, the student body, obviously your own players. And again, I mean, as a student, I mean, there's no words to describe how much that's appreciated. There's no words.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll tell you what, if we continue, I mean, just think about what we could be looking back on in a few years. I mean, you got a chance to say, I was there when that corner got turned, when this got built and it led to this development on 20th or whatever, right? I mean, we can all feel it, and I know we've got to perform. We've got to do the right things and protect the ball and stop the big plays and all those things. But all this comes together, guys. I mean, this has got a chance to be a historic jump that changes Florida Atlantic, that changes East Boca, that puts a national stage, that all of a sudden nationally people are talking about the #1 rated ocean engineering program that's putting turbines in the Gulf Stream to create clean power. I mean, it goes way beyond just bowl games and things like that. That's why all those things to me are it's the synergy that's real. I mean, so when I was at Iowa State in the 90s, I saw we took them to their first bowl game in 20 years. I saw applications go up, and I'll throw a fake percentage out because I don't remember, but they went way up. And what we can do to help this whole school is fun to think about.
Yeah.
So, Coach, I've got one question, since I would be remiss in not mentioning that school to the south. On a scale of 1 to 10, how amped up do the players get to play FIU? We, as the diehard FAU fans, we're on Twitter against them. We're going back and forth. We're talking all sorts of smack and trash. And I know those guys know each other. They played against each other in high school. So is it really – do they get as excited as we, the diehard, get for that game?
Well, I'll tell you what. When there's some dates we have marked, and when we play international in our stadium and get a chance to get that Shula Trophy back, I promise you that our kids are going to be as emotionally ready to go as possible. In fact, my job that week will be to contain their emotions. It's very real, and I probably underestimated a little bit how real it is. Hopefully this year we don't have a 3-hour halftime, and we protect the ball better at the end of the day, and don't go into the red zone and do things that we shouldn't do. But no, guys, it's very real. We feel everything that you're feeling, and I'll give Coach Turner credit. He's working to do things the right way down there as well. But no, that's when we play the international school and they come up to Boca, that's going to be a big day for all of us.
We want that trophy home, Coach. I debated the other day if I don't know what I want more, Conference USA championship or the Shula Bowl home, and Jack rightly said, can't we have both?
How about we fight to find as much trophy space as we possibly can this year, huh?
I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, that'll probably about do it for us. Again, want to really say thanks. We're just some passionate fans. We all come from kind of a different background, whether we're alum or anything like that. It really means a lot for you to take the time to come check us out. So, yeah, we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you doing this podcast and spreading the word. Have a great day. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good one.
Bye.
You too.